Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. If you know me, you know how much I dislike international break. And not because of the national team, because it can even be fun qualifying or trying to qualify for a big tournament, the big tournaments, playing for the country that you are representing, which is all good, all nice. But during international break that we have so much, especially in the beginning of the season, September, October, November, you are always scared. Everything can happen. And that's a problem because first, you are breaking for your club team, and secondly, you don't know, maybe an injury, maybe someone is not scoring, maybe they are not qualifying and they have mental problems. It's a disaster. Another disaster, another nightmare. Well, it's Gazzetta dello Sport that is bringing it to us because look at that picture. Two reasons. The first one is Juventini together hugging the Inter players next to each other, and then the word Fratelli d'Italia, brothers of Italy. Okay, fine. Italian players, okay, they are playing for the Azzurri, but that picture is absolutely not beautiful. I don't like that picture at all. And on top of that, I don't see Manuel Locatelli. For what reason? Because we are in international break. Yesterday, international break 1, Locatelli has been sent back from Coverciano to La Continassa. And usually, I'm happy when they are sent back. That means that they are not playing. They can rest a bit. But this time, Locatelli has a bigger problem. We'll speak about Locatelli in a second. But first of all, we start with another one. Mercato, Jadon Sancho. Because everyone is speaking about Jadon Sancho since a few weeks. And a lot of time people ask me, Beppe, is it true? Is it not true? What is happening? Can you tell us a bit more about it? Which I will do in today's video. But first of all, I'm asking you maximum of like, continue to subscribe for the channel. And I also wanted, before starting speaking about actuality, Mercato, Juve, etc., to tell you that I'm really sorry because the live of yesterday there were some technical problems, apparently, not caused by me, but YouTube. And even if you're watching on replay, the live of yesterday evening, apparently some people have problems with lagging. So if you would be kind enough to go trying if it's working for you or not, and also, letting me know from what device you're watching. For example, you're watching from iPhone and it's working, write me. I'm watching from iPhone, it's working. Or I'm watching from Android, it's not working. From PC, it's working. Let me know how, because I need to solve that. Hopefully, it's just a one shot and we don't have future problems. Anyway, let's speak about Jadon Sancho. Because speaking about the Italian team, with diverse shirts, we go towards Jadon Sancho with a shirt of Juve. Why are they speaking about it? Do you remember that 2 weeks ago, we had Giovanni Manna, we had Cristiano Giuntoli that went to London to watch the game between Tottenham and, if I'm not wrong, Chelsea. We're all asking each other, why were they there? What player were they observing, scouting? What kind of relation did they want to start there? There were diverse theories. The first one that they would have spoken with the new agency of Fagioli to extend the contract. There were theories that they were there to speak with Tottenham for Højbjerg in January. There were some theories that were saying that they were speaking already with Calvin Phillips' entourage because they have the same agency, Stellar, from Fagioli, and they are based in London. So there were so many diverse theories, but all of the theories, they were going towards one direction, or extending players that we already had, or the new signatures for players on loan or definitive in January. There was one thing that we didn't consider. It was the fact that Juventus could also have been there to sell players. And who are we speaking about? We are speaking about Iling Jr. I'm not saying that it's correct. I'm not telling you that this is the reality. I'm telling you that it's probably an option that we didn't consider, especially if now we know that Tottenham is on the player, and not only Tottenham is on the English young player, 20 years old player from Juventus, and that could be a problem. A problem for all of us Juventini that would have loved to see Iling Jr. more and more on the field, that this could have been the breakout season of Iling Jr. Samuel. Well, it is not. There are the possibility that he could leave. The starting asking price from Juventus with Giuntoli and Manna is 20 million euro for the English player. Will there be a team that wants to go all in for him? If yes, then it will be a team from Premier League. On the other side, because we have too many players on the left side, which we already said could have been a problem for competition there, Cambiaso, Kostic and Iling Jr., well, Juventus could think that with that money that we are able to cash in, going for a midfielder, and on top of that, maybe a player on the right side. And that's not a mystery, a coincidence that we are speaking about Berardi, that we are speaking about even at a certain moment Bernardeschi, and even a dream like Jadon Sancho, because it's a player that could possibly come to Juve. So what are the problems there? that Manchester United wants to sell the player, not loan out the player. Selling the player is a priority of Manchester United so that they can cash in and not deal with the problem anymore in 6 months. While Juventus, they don't have the money for Jadon Sancho immediately here in January. On top of that, he's earning quite a lot in terms of salary. Juventus, they are asking that Manchester United is also, if they loan the player, paying a part of the salary, where United said, if we don't find anyone that is able to sign permanently Sancho, we can even think about the loan for the player, but then you have to pay 70% of his salary, which for Juve could be a lot. So are there possibilities for Sancho to join Juve? Well, yes, we can't close the door definitely, but it's a player that we will probably have to wait until the end of January. End of January, player that is coming back from months without playing, from another championship, because he played in Bundesliga, he plays now in Premier League, he doesn't know Allegri, he doesn't know Serie A. When will he find the time to adapt, and what can he bring to the team? Big question mark. So even if I admire the player, if I don't doubt the skills of the player, according to me, it's still really something super difficult, especially now that we know what are the terms of United. Anyway, there is another player that is playing in that role, in that 4-3-3 or that 4-2-3-1 that can play on that right side, and it is Mattia Soulé. Tuttosport is speaking not only about tennis but also about football with Mattia Soulé, with the people that were in Milan or the people that watched Inter Frosinone, even if Frosinone lost 2-0, that all of them were saying, Mamma mia, Juve. Soulé looks like Dybala, because even if Frosinone lost, you see, Soulé did a fantastic performance. The way that he's playing is fantastically well. Dribbling, controlling the ball, seeing spaces that do not exist, is growing also in personality. And also Di Francesco continues to praise the player, saying, Soulé is a screaming player. He will still continue to grow. He still has margins to grow, which is fantastic for us. On the other side, I know that a lot of Tifosi are asking, can we have him back in January? Well, they have the intention to keep him until the month of June. And I already told you, for me, that's the best solution ever. Yes, he could potentially help Juve from January on, but I would not risk it. Let him grow, doing a full season where he's totally aware of his capabilities, especially because at Frosinone, the coach, Di Francesco, is saying, I will never forbid him to do that extra dribble. If we were looking at the last stats before the game against Inter, he had like 38 success dribbles. That's fantastic. On the other side, 31 failed dribbles. So it's a player that he's trying. He has the courage, the bravery, also thanks to his coach, to try that dribble. He's missing a lot of time the dribbles. It's not a problem at Frosinone. They are doing a beautiful Serie A, and they can take the risk, while at Juventus, risking is a bit more dangerous, because we know it. We are trying to compete to stay in that top 4, which at the moment we are succeeding, dreaming about something bigger. Anyway, speaking about Juventus, speaking about the first thing that I mentioned, that picture, that horrible nightmare picture without Locatelli, it is because of international break 1. Yesterday he went to La Coverciano. He did some tests and he was sent back home. Why? Fractured rib. And it's not because of the Azzurri, let's not blame Spalletti and team, but it's because himself, in a way, let's say he had a contrast at the 6th minute of Juve Cagliari, broken rib, and the player continued to play for the full 90 minutes. He was captain. He didn't want to leave. For the first time ever that he was captain, he didn't want to leave his teammates alone. He knew how important the game was, so he sacrificed himself, which is beautiful, which is a romantic story. Then a lot of people could have thought, Pep, you are taking even more risk. If you are playing on a broken or with a broken rib, you are maybe even doing it worse than it initially is. On the other side, I praise that Juventinità, because he didn't give up. He wanted to play fino alla fine, giving a support, being the captain, being exemplary. And it was really fun to say. No, it was not fun to see, because a lot of people, they were criticizing his performance. By the way, yesterday, The Rock wrote the guy was playing from the 6th minute on with a broken rib, and a lot of Juventini were criticizing him. Now, looking at it after, look at how exemplary he was. And Manuel Locatelli answers with a black and a white heart, with bianco nero, white and black heart, which was actually quite beautiful to see. He suffered, but I love that Juventinità. Now, what are the consequences? That Locatelli could miss even up to 1 month. Allegri will not change system. This is what has been reported by La Stampa. And La Stampa is now saying the man that is the next in line to play instead of Locatelli could be Hans Nicolussi Caviglia. We were all asking to see him more. He made his official debut in the game against Cagliari. That could be the sliding door of his season, the starting point of something beautiful. Of course, starting as a regista in the game against Inter will be tough. We saw Barrenechea starting in the Derby della Mole last season. Can this be the sliding door, the starting point of the really huge career of Nicolussi? Well, we will know it. Again, I hope that Locatelli could be back, but at the moment, it's not super confident about that one. Cristiana Girelli, speaking from Juve to Juve, so from a Juventino to a Juventina. Well, Cristiana Girelli yesterday entered for the first time the Hall of Fame of Italian football. Congratulations to her. It's always beautiful to see these kind of things. She was extremely proud, and we Juventini, men, women, or whatever, we are proud about these kind of moments. From a Juventino to a Juventina, going back to another Juventino, Fagioli today should be the day where his extension will be announced until 2028. I remember last week I told you all the journalists were saying today is the day. On Friday you will see the announcement from a club. I told you, according to what I know, I'm not sure about it. Wait a bit until the beginning of next week. Today should be a day, and I can partially confirm. Let's see if it will happen or not. But I think yes. Again, my opinion about that, I think it's a beautiful sign of Juventus to really, not only with words saying we will back the player up, but also with some concrete facts, and that's a really beautiful story. Then, of course, it will be to Fagioli to show that he's thankful for it, that he's grateful for the fact that he has been extended. I want to go towards Giuntoli. You will tell me, Beppe, why Giuntoli? Because today Corriere dello Sport is going with Napoli. Tudor ha detto sì. Napoli, Tudor said yes. Tudor said yes to the bench of Napoli because we know it. Garcia, a few days, maybe even today, will be officially sacked from Napoli after match day 12. A coach chosen by De Laurentiis, and it's a chaos. It's chaos situation in Napoli. And now De Laurentiis is starting some talks. He already asked for Antonio Conte to come back for the second time in a row. Antonio Conte said, no, thank you. Tudor, apparently they offered him a contract for 7 months, so until the end of the season, with the possibility to extend, not from the coach, but from the president. So the president at the end of the season can have the possibility to extend him. At the moment, Corriere is saying he said yes. From the information, the latest updates, at the moment he said, let me think about it. So it's not a no from Tudor, but at the moment, today, Mazzarri, ex-coach from so many teams in Serie A, but he also coached Napoli. He didn't do fantastically well, honestly. Could be the coach that be elected. For what reason? Because Tudor is saying, I want to think about it. I want to take time. Give me a bit of time. I'm not sure. So Mazzarri after Spalletti, mamma mia. Chaos situation, going from Conte to Tudor to Mazzarri, mamma mia, disaster situation. Why am I speaking about Giuntoli in that case? For a simple reason. Because I always said, you need a strong management if you want to succeed. Without a strong management, you are not able to succeed. Look at what's happening with Napoli now. Probably De Laurentiis, he underestimated the fact that Giuntoli went away. He was even mocking him, saying, if I knew that he was a Juventino, I would have let him go earlier. Then he's going for Conte, he's going for Tudor, they are always looking for Juventini. And he didn't even replace him. He wants to take charge of the team of Napoli, and you see the chaos that they are in at the moment. But if you want other example, look at Lyon. Lyon, change of presidency, change of management. They are there fighting for relegation in La Liga. Look at Ajax, change of management, Overmars story, etc., etc., etc. They were playing semifinals of Champions League like 2-3 seasons ago. Look where they are now. They are battling. They lost even this week, and they are battling not even relegation, but the last spot of Eredivisie. Look at Marseille. Tudor that was there in that chaos of management, the supporters against everything. He went away, disaster. They are fighting, I believe they are 3 or 4 points over relegation zone. So if you're looking back at Juventus, the 9 years of Scudetti win, the 10 years of Cups, we won because we had a strong management. And everything collapsed from the moment that our management gave up. that they gave away, that they resigned from the moment that we saw the first initial troubles, the first time that they were not agreeing with each other. This is also when Juventus started to collapse. So Cristiano Giuntoli, where a lot of people were criticizing him a bit in the summer because he didn't sign players, what is he doing, 007 memes on the internet about Giuntoli, etc., etc. Cristiano Giuntoli is a really strong asset. If you're asking yourself what is Cristiano Giuntoli doing, wait a bit before assessing his mercato things because he just arrived. So give him the winter, give him next summer to really understand where he's going to. But if you want already, the first fact is reinforcing the management and giving support to the technical staff, to the players, to Max Allegri, to build again a really strong management that can see Juventus winning. Gazzetta dello Sport is ending with Scudetto da Maestri, the Scudetti of the Master, the Scudetto of the Masters. They are showing Rabiot and Çalhanoğlu, but actually these are not the guys that they are speaking about. And no, they are also not speaking about the horrible Photoshop graphic that they did with Max Allegri in a Juve shirt, with Inzaghi in a Inter shirt. No, that's not what they are speaking about. They are speaking actually about Arrigo Sacchi and Fabio Capello, two ex-legendary coaches of Italian football that they spoke about the Derby d'Italia. With Sacchi saying, "La signora ha I muscoli," the old lady has the muscles. And if Inter wants to hurt Juve, they will need to press them, while Capello is saying Nerazzurri, Inter is stronger. Max will pay attention to the details and he will try also to block the wings where Inter is really strong. Look at the last goal of Di Marco. Pay attention to the corner kicks and the wings, because that will be the dangers of Inter for Juve. And then you have Luca Toni, that is also speaking, ex-Juve player, ex-Fiorentina player, ex-Bayern Munich player, that said the Derby d'Italia will be probably the starting point, that sparkle for Dusan Vlahovic. Well, on these words, I want to stop because I hope that Luca Toni is right about Dusan Vlahovic. A goal in the Derby d'Italia for Dusan Vlahovic could be again the restart, the reboot, and hopefully he's doing really well against Belgium in that friendly between Belgium and Serbia that can give him a bit that autostima, that awareness that he's still a fantastic player. Anyway, that was it for me. Ragazzi, maximum of like, continue to subscribe to the video. Grazie, forza, Juve.